Celik. He is the managing director of Daily Sabah, an English daily newspaper here in Turkey. Thanks for coming in. So Russia says YPG forces have been cleared, but Turkey wants that independent confirmation. Is that a lack of trust or just better safe than sorry?
I wouldn't call it a lack of trust. I think it's better call it safe than sorry, particularly given the close and good relations between Turkey and Russia, and as well as between President Erdogan and President Putin, and for the fact that we're dealing with a terrorist group and not a legitimate actor, that we are seeing whether they will abide by the deal or not. So Turkey wants to ensure that the YPG has withdrawn and it will not cause any sort of friction in this process that could escalate or turn Turkey-Russia relations into something that is not desired. So for that sense, I think Turkey wants to be sure that the YPG has withdrawn from the respective areas, and it will not also act as an obstacle to the planned process for the safe zone and the joint patrols as well.
Fair enough. So from the YPG's perspective, do you think they will have cleared out of this region, knowing what the consequences could be? And given that, what would be the likelihood of Turkey feeling it has to expand the safe zone area?
Well, I don't think the YPG's inner aim of leaving the respective zone, the safe zone, will ever diminish. So they will always have that aim of maybe infiltrating at some point, or they're in a part of their mind that belonging to that zone will remain, despite the fact that they have occupied this region for a long time. So that is something that the time will show, and also the consistency of Turkey-Russia relations, how much they can cooperate on the ground. With respect to your question on the safe zone, I think it's a very multi-tiered process. So there is the security aspect of it, there is the rebuilding, there is the voluntary returning of refugees to the area. So that whole multi-tiered process is something that will have to be carried out step by step in order to ensure that actually the ultimate planned safe zone is established, and not something that was rushed.
Right.
So if the security is a concern, voluntary returns will not happen. If the reconstruction is a concern and it doesn't actually happen the way it is planned, voluntary returns will not happen.
Right.
And if these are all combined, I think overall the aim of establishing a safe zone will not be achieved, and all these efforts will basically be going down the drain.
Right. I was going to ask you, I mean, obviously you've just outlined why this may be hard to predict because there are so many unknowns going forward, but what kind of time scale do you think we might be looking at then as far as the completion of the safe zone, and then of course convincing refugees that they are safe enough there to return?
Well, I think we should not also read this whole safe zone plan without actually looking at the political unity and political transformation in Syria as a country. So with regards to the safe zone, I think that transition, with regards to the time scale, that transition will also depend on how quick that constitution, for example, building will happen. And I mean, we're not looking, for sure, we're not looking at time period of months, but I don't expect it to go beyond let's say a year or two as well.
Okay. Mehmet, thanks so much for coming in. Greatly appreciated.